So Dustborn is back in the news again, this time for even worse news than previously, and seems to be breaking records as it seems to continually do on its way down to obscurity. This game was labeled by many as the wokest game to ever exist. And it was created by film institutes over there and government grants to make this come to fruition. And Red Thread Games, the company behind it, didn't even care if it made money. Because at the end of the day, it was propaganda to be pushed out to the masses. And it was almost like a canary in the coal mine for what was to come with the new video game industry post COVID, where government grants were just throwing money at all these companies to push propaganda. And Dustborn was basically ground zero for that. And speaking of zero, it is currently, let me take a look, just refresh this here. While I'm recording this, 3 players in game right now, 7 in the 24-hour peak, which is actually higher than I thought it would be, and a total peak since launch of 83 people. Basically, this is like the 1-year anniversary, pretty much. And it has hit 0. Now it didn't sustain 0 for very long, but it was at 0 when the screenshot was taken. And again, it shouldn't really surprise anybody, but still something that I wanted to just kind of take a trip down memory lane after this 1-year anniversary is here. This comes from me on smashjt.com. I said, Dustborn, the biggest failure in video game history. Thanks to governmental funding, Dustborn crashes and burns, a flop of epic proportions in modern gaming history. And again, this was August 21st of last year. So almost exactly 1 year ago, just a few days over that. I said, in what could only be described as one of the biggest flops in gaming history since release a couple days ago, Dustborn from Red Thread Games has hit an all-time peak of just 83 concurrent players. Currently, the game is struggling to muster even half that number at any given moment. For a title that launched just 2 days ago, as of this writing, the performance isn't just disappointing, it's beyond catastrophic. And I wanted to bring us over to this post here. Dustborn dev opens up after brutal launch. Caught us completely off guard. And this was a article that I actually covered previously in another video about how the Red Thread Games CEO, Ragnarok Tornquist, who has me blocked on X for simply sharing my feelings on this game. I don't necessarily blame him for blocking me, but he's someone that was somehow caught off guard. If you were caught off guard, bro, with this game's reception, you need to quit the game industry altogether and go find another job somewhere else. Go with Matt Hansen and find a cabin in the woods to retire, bro. Because this industry is not for you. If you thought this game was legitimately going to launch and be something special, what? Red Thread Games has endured hate and threats after the launch of their new game, which again, leftist logic, they always love to say, oh, we've gotten so much hate speech, threats. Really, bro? How bad has it been? Is it just feedback saying your game sucks? Don't try to sell people woke slop. Don't push an agenda in your games. Is that hate, or is that people just sharing their opinions in a aggressive manner? Ragnar Tornquist is the founder and CEO of Red Thread Games. On the 20th of August, 2024, the studio released Dustborn. And the article was originally published in Norwegian. That was the Norway Film Institute. It was a lot of money, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars altogether, given straight up to Red Thread Games to push this game out there and sell it. They already recouped their money of the game before it even went for sale. That is not a sustainable business model. That's taking taxpayer money and putting a game together. And then it doesn't even matter if it's good or not. That goes completely against the entire capitalistic mindset of creating something worthwhile and people will buy it. And your company can sustain itself based off the talent at that company. But no, we've gotten to the point with, this is why it faced so much backlash of companies like Red Thread Games, who, gotta be honest, did have some bangers back in the day before this guy went hardcore TDS and went down the rabbit hole of being hardcore woke to making propaganda pieces. It's kind of sad to see it. Ragnar Tornquist is one of the leading figures in the Norwegian gaming industry. That's pathetic. He has worked in game development for nearly 30 years and loves his job. It is his greatest passion. Hey, that's great. It doesn't matter. You have to be good at it. That's like me saying, I love golfing. I should be on the PGA Tour. No. However, the launch of Dustborn, the newest game from Red Thread Games, has forced him to seriously reconsider whether game development is something worth pursuing. Is it worth living this way when you have a family? That is one of the questions Tornquist asked himself. The game has garnered enormous international attention, mostly of the negative kind. I love these kind of interviews too, when they're just like, oh yeah, this is a nice guy. He's got a family. The game has garnered a lot of negative feedback and attention. Instead of it highlighting what people are upset about, they just give you the perspective of this humble guy in Norway that's just trying to make a good game for you guys. And people are just really, really mad because gamers are bad people. That was the narrative they tried to run with for the better part of what? When did Gamergate start? 2012? While critics have received Dustborn in a somewhat lukewarm fashion, that is being very nice. I think IGN gave it a 7. Everyone else was pretty much below that. Criticism has flooded social media. Many have reacted strongly, claiming the game pushes a woke agenda. Conspiracy theories are abound. I love when they use these words. It caught us completely off guard. We were very surprised by the extreme reaction to the launch, and we had no plan for how to handle it. Tornquist tells Gamer.com. Hey, Norway just gave us suitcases full of money and let us make this game to push propaganda that I am indoctrinated with and wanted to make. And when we pushed it out to the masses, people got mad at us. That's really weird. I wasn't expecting that. I thought people would just play our slop and eat it up and ask for more slop. Wild falsehoods. Tornquist has been through tough situations before. He lives at a secret address and has an unlisted phone number precisely because he knows how intense fans can be. But nothing could have prepared him for what happened with Dustborn. He won't go into detail about everything he's heard, but Tornquist claims there have been both harassment and threats. Does this guy want to go to work for Collective Shout? Like, oh no, you've gotten threats and harassment. Like share. What have people, are they legitimate threats? Contact the police. Like, if you can find out who it is, that is serious. That is serious. But from what I have seen, because trust me, I will call out threats all day long. Even if I disagree with you and don't like your game, if you showcase that there's an unhinged fan that's making legitimate threats against you, I would call that out. I'd be like, no, we aren't on board with doing this kind of stuff. That's not cool. It's the same kind of thing like that chick that was the cosplayer at the comic convention that had the bomb threat. It's like, that's not cool. Don't do stuff like that. Like, I don't care what side of the fence you're on. Don't do stuff like that. You can easily ignore what's said on forums or on X. Emails feel a little closer to home. Well, oh my God, this guy would not last 2 seconds on social media. My goodness. Or as a content creator. You guys should see some of the stuff that I've gotten over the years from people. Not recently, but over the years. I have gotten some pretty aggressive feedback from people. And you know what I did with that? I'm like, hey, you know what? This person cares enough to write this message to me. Sure, it's a little bit unhinged and a little bit weird, but I'll bank it. I'll try to be better. But I'm not going to change who I am for what I feel like is someone is very unhinged online. But all this is just you feedback, you take it in, and you work with it. I don't go crying about it unless someone's actually like making threats to me. Then yes, I will certainly talk about that. But I don't like the amount of shit that I've gotten from people that I haven't even said to anybody ever. It's so much to even count that it would turn into what my content creation is. I guess I guess is the best way to put it. I think some people are just better at deflecting it than others. I really think that's what it comes down to. But receiving text messages where someone wishes you dead is unsettling, he says. Several videos about Tornquist have surfaced on YouTube. One video claims that Tornquist has said he wants to drown babies. That is obviously pure fabrication, but Tornquist finds it surreal. They're now spotlighting someone. I remember when this happened back like a year ago. They're spotlighting a dude with, I think they had at the time like 70 or so subscribers. And the video that they put out there, someone shared it with me in an email. That's how I found out about it. The video had like 14 views on it. I'm like, I'm not going to cover this shit. I don't want to spotlight this. First off, this is a weird, random nobody loser that's saying insane shit. Why would I draw attention to that? But clearly he's going to do that because he wants to be like, oh, look at everyone. Look at how bad it is. Like this is like what Collective Shout does when it's like a no-name account on X that was created this month. And they're like, oh, look at the harassment we're getting. Look at how bad it is, guys. Like, why are you screenshotting that and sharing it with everyone? That is literally a shell account of a fake account. That's not anyone that actually runs that account. That's an alt account that someone is just trying to get at you with. Why are you giving them a platform? If it is even them, because Collective Shout was caught using a fake email address to say they were getting harassment that blew up in their face when it got caught, and they got community noted on that. My greater point with all of this, with Dustborn, is the fallout surrounding the entire situation is the game currently, around this week at least, had 0 people in game about 1 year after it launched. This is one of the worst failures in gaming history. Not on the upper echelons of like a Concord, obviously, because that's AAA with hundreds of millions of dollars. But as far as like indie projects with the amount of money that got put into it and the money that they made off of this, one of the biggest failures ever. So yeah, I guess breaking records. I didn't expect Dustborn to see 0 in game a year after it launched, but here we are. I guess maybe I should have. It's kind of surreal. Oh yeah, and shout out to Proctofile. Already platinum the game. No reason left for me to go back. Classic. Alucard just shared this with me. He said, a reminder of TGS 2024. There's Ragnar Tornquist right here. And that is literally no one even looking at them. And you know what's curious about this? Is the prominent spot that this has in the center of everything. Like people have to go out of their way to walk around it and avoid it. I find it fascinating. Where do they get the money for this, by the way? That looks like a very expensive display stand. He had to fly into TGS. The people that had to set this all up and all that. Like this costs money. This costs a lot of money to have a booth this size. And then nobody cared about it. Hysterical. I actually had someone email me that was at TGS when this got shown off. And they were like, it's true, by the way. They were there and like nobody was even sitting there or caring about it. Like the entire weekend. Like this isn't one of those pictures that gets taken out of context. They're like, nope, I walked by it multiple times, never saw anyone sitting there playing it at all. It was like depressing. So, shout out to Alucard. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, that's the Tokyo Game Show, TGS. But yeah, I will leave that one there.